Hey Google, can you play Conrad Sewell Start Again?
Got it. Start Again by Conrad Sewell. Playing on Spotify.
My Google started playing. It's playing! Hey Google, please stop.
I think mine is too. Hey Google. Oh, okay, you turned mine off as well. Thank you.
Hey Google, please stop playing Conrad Sewell.
Hey Google. Turn off. Thank you. I didn't think about that.
Roll the smash.
Here at the glass table, we're just like you.
I like to play football, I like to watch football, and I like to talk about football.
Yay! I like to play football, and I like to watch football, and I like to talk about football.
But we do things a little bit differently around here.
That could be a dream, Jared.
Stupid dick.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the glass table. That's all from me. Jared, you can take over.
Hello, everybody. It's lovely. It's lovely for us to be here. Still, we're still very happy to be here. Obviously, we're in different happiness after the weekend. We all know the weekend's results, and I'm sure we'll get to it in a little bit. I think I do this every single time, and I believe it's this way. The video. I'm sure that the review is probably about here. If I get this right, if when I'm watching this, I get this right on where it is in the suggested bar on the side, I'll be very happy.
You're pointing the wrong way. Yeah, that's okay. It's fine. I mean, Connor Rosie did the same with the coin toss, but that's fine.
Either way, it is very, very nice to be back. Thank you very much once again for having me here. And yeah, welcome back to another episode of The Glass Table, which is a very exciting time apart from the result for Ant.
Yeah, I can't believe Melbourne lost to Geelong, man. Like, seriously, it's just... obviously, yep. Congratulations. You would have won.
Sorry, but for the last 2 years that we've done this, before this third year, we've played each other 4 times, I think, and each time you have presented yourself with a trophy, and it's honestly about time. And this is truly one of the great experiences because I finally get to award myself my very own Jan Cup, and I just grabbed this out of the drawer because I haven't got any of my trophies out, but I finally can award myself my very own Jan Cup after losing it 4 times in a row. I think that seems about right. I think we play each other 2 times a year. It's an honor. It's a blessing. And yeah, congrats me.
Well done. That's all I've got to say about that. The highlight of the day was seeing you work and doing your thing, and that was before the game, which was the happiest I felt all day. No.
It was very good. It was very, very good. And before we get into anything, we'll talk about the game obviously, but talking about pre-game. A little bit. Talking about pre-game, I just want to give a shout out, and I'm so sorry that I didn't get your name. But to the lady that was in the front row of the Port Cheer squad, that when I was out with the boys when they were warming up, and it just said, "Hey Jared," I turned around, and I wasn't expecting it to be me. And then she was like, "Oh, I watched the glass table. I'm so sorry to get your name, but thank you very much for shouting out and shouting my name. That was very, very nice of you. And I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry about the result, obviously, but I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for shouting out and saying hey, because that was cool.
I think you're the only genuine Saint supporter that's actually like not rubbed it in.
That's remorseful. I am remorseful because obviously, I see it firsthand with, with what we do here. I know Port fans very closely. I knew you very closely, and I know that losses like that are not fun. And the last couple of weeks haven't been that fun. So I am very remorseful. And I will always make sure that I express that in the right way.
You can get stuffed. Nah, that's all good. Thank you. It was one of the many results on the weekend that we'll get to later, but it was definitely nice to just. Adelaide felt a little bit different having you here, so it was very, very good. And it'll be happening again this weekend for Gather Round, which will be a stupid, sexy weekend of footy. Some would say.
Maybe don't say hi to us that weekend because I don't know if you're going to get the response that you're after.
If it's anything like the beer experience I had on the weekend, let me tell you. When you go to the footy and you want to experience, you know what? Let me give you 3 things that is a shit experience of a footy. I reckon I had them all 3, right? People can chime in here. But before I get into stupid sexy, I had a great segue, but you ruined it. But that's fine. You ruined a lot of things about my weekend, including the result. But that's okay. It's all good. Sit there with a
I didn't. Me in particular did not.
No, just what you represent. But it's all good. 3 things that can ruin an experience at the footy. Parents advise. This is just from a person that doesn't have a kid, okay? But deep down, you know. Right. Number 1. Little kid sitting in front of you that just won't sit down.
Yeah.
It's climbing the chair, think it's a little, monkey bars, and it's all well and good. But when you're hungover and it's a Sunday 2:50 and you're barely holding on while your side is losing by 5 goals in a game you should win, and it's not fun. So a warning out there, keep your kids in check.
Yep.
Right? Just sit them down. Give them an iPad or just, I don't know, is Angry Birds still a thing? I guess just shove whatever. Paw Patrol. It's fine. All good. Number 2. This is for the workers at any football ground. My home ground in particular, the Adelaide Oval. Yours, Marvel, or the MCG. Don't let a beer sit there for what, for me and my personal taste, felt like 15 minutes in the sun. Don't let beer just sit on the trough, and waiting for the person to order. Pour it fresh. I'm sure we'd appreciate as footy fans. We'd wait 10 seconds for a beer to be poured. Yep. Don't line them up. And if you do it, make sure the person that's ordering is ordering 4 so you can fill the cup tray. And, bang, bang, off you go. It's all fine. Don't give me something that belongs in the fucking sun. And number 3. Sunday 2:50 should be banned, and anything past 2:30 is a terrible experience for football in general.
No more Sunday 2:50 games.
No, bring it forward.
Early game.
Bring it forward.
No,
2 o'clock.
no. The last time we had an early Sunday game was again in Adelaide, and again we got absolutely pasted.
But I'm not talking about just us, just in general, right? What? 2 o'clock? Oh, that was the worst experience ever, by the way. I know what you're talking about. Actually, you know what? As well, daylight savings. You can piss off as well. Do you know how long it took for me to get through yesterday? It felt like 38 hours.
Felt like a long day. Felt like a very, very long day.
Don't get spicy food before footy as well, because that thing will shit your fan.
It was a tough day of football on Sunday.
I'm not going to be done with this rant. And Conrad's still playing in my corner, but that's fine. We'll be okay. Let's get to some happy stuff. And I think we should be stupid sexy.
Play the music. Stupid sexy. Yeah, I'll play it.
What's yours this week, my beautiful friend?
No, you can go first. My friend?
So I'm just my friend and I call you beautiful. I get it. It's fine. It's going to be a tough night.
I thought you said my friend too, to be honest with you. So,
who's the second one?
What?
My friend too? Anyway, this bloke doesn't really represent footy. It's more it caught my eye. I'm just going to get straight to it. The size of this man's snake, Robert Irwin, right? What he is just the perfect rendition of the Irwin family. Right? Steve was incredible, represented Australia. He's the icon. He is my Australian, right?
Yeah.
You want to paint me a picture of Australia, you give me Steve Irwin, you give me the Wiggles, and you give me Foster's beer because that's never really a thing, but everyone knows about it. Get it?
Apparently
You know
so.
what I mean? Yeah, because people are stupid. But yeah, I saw bonds, and all of a sudden I become a very, very hard investor. I'm really, yeah.
This is top notch. This is fantastic. I'm so glad you brought this up. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Well, brought me up, let me tell
Yeah.
you. I was very excited, you know, and I've seen the generations of the Irwin family grew up, you know, the crocodile hunter. I think Robert's going to be the snake catcher.
I saw your face. I literally saw the gears turning in the head.
Run it through me. Anaconda, Python, the King Brown. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the snake names, but it was pretty much wrapped around his neck.
Oh, fucking I'm so glad you brought this up because all right, here's an insight, everybody. Here's an insight into the worlds of JT and Ant. Okay, we've both got sisters, and a lot of them. There's a lot of sisters going around between the families, right? Let me tell you, I was off my phone for however long. I come back and I have a lot of messages from my sisters, and they go, "Oh boy, look at what Robert Irwin just posted." And I was like, "Calm down. He's Australia's, he's Australia's son. Like he's he's a nice boy." And I looked on Instagram and I was like, "Oh my goodness me, Robert. This is least we've done this segment for, this is our third year of doing it kind of thing. This might fit the bill the best. This may be the most fit the bill stupid sexy we've ever had."
I think it's more Bob.
He's Bob now, isn't he?
Robert. I think he's more Bob.
He's more Bob now.
When that bobbed up,
Bob.
just did a bit of quick research so we can all link this to footy and people aren't sitting there going, these blokes are fucking turning left. Nope. We're definitely right because he's a Brisbane fan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, I feel like he's definitely more of an NRL guy. I can absolutely guarantee it. He is an NRL guy. But
he has a rig.
Be a Brisbane fan.
Fitter than, I reckon, 85% of the whole AFL.
100%. 100%. He is looking good, is Robert Irwin. And a great pick by you. That's a fantastic pick.
Yep. Australia Zoo's getting a visit soon.
Coming for you, Robert. Oh, going off the rails early this episode. Off the rails early. Goodness me.
Somebody put me to cough.
Oh boy.
You know, they use wood. I remember the Crocodile Hunter movie, and they put the croc inside the coffin. I would be in the same one as that.
Just waiting.
It was just a box, but you know. Anyway, let's carry on. Who was yours?
My one this weekend. And we're going to discuss obviously a bit of footy and everything like that over the next however long this episode goes. But there is one performance in particular that I think just sort of epitomizes what we look for here. And earlier today I posted obviously the Jesse Hogan performance, which is that is a super sexy stats performance in itself kind of thing. This performance, however, isn't just about the stats; it's about what it represented. And on the weekend and on Saturday, a guy in a number 41 jumper went out there and he vice skipped his side, right? And went out. It was a long way. It was a long trip, a long away trip. And what happened was an absolute shootout, and went out there. Not only kicked 6, kicked the winner, and then I believe things spiraled on, and he ended up with a check, and then a raffle win, and then many beers and many more beers and then many more beers, and many more beers, and many more beers. And for those that are listening and not watching right now and not seeing Ed's reaction, my stupid sexy performance and my stupid sexy person of the week is the fact that Anthony Lesiani kicked 6 goals, including the game winner, and then went back to the Highlander and fucking tore it apart on Saturday.
It's best on ground on all fronts.
You didn't see that one coming, though, did you? Caught him off guard.
Neither did Lonsdale, to be honest. I counted back I watched the footage.
Yeah.
It's a shame there's no sound on the footage because that's amateur league footy for you, Div 6 as well. So it's not the highest of grades, but it's good quality footy. I'd give you 18-9 to 18-8 as a scoreline. You're going, holy shit, that's not bad.
Good game of footy.
Then I give you one further, and I'm pretty sure 17 over our 18 goals were kicked by people that were over 6'5". So it was a tall man's game.
Yep.
So me and Jesse Hogan enjoyed a day out. And then I picture the fact that I've never kicked 6 in a game. And the 6th goal of the day that I've kicked is with, I counted back, 43 seconds on the clock left.
Beautiful. Yep.
Wasn't the greatest looking kick off the boot. But my beautiful smart mind that I have, this doesn't really look good on me, by the way. Really put me in a corner here. Anyway, it's 43 seconds ago. I slotted in, snuck in by that much. Definitely not Robert Earn size, but it was in. And yeah, picked the match winner. Took home 150 clams, won a raffle, and gave myself the worst headache ever the next day.
But it was a good day overall, and that's what we like to see here. And that was obviously the perfect segue into a segment that we had a lot last year and then the year before, which is obviously our around the grounds local footy style. And yeah, what a way to bring it back in a 6-goal best on ground match winning goal, raffle winning $250 check winning performance. I just could keep rattling them off.
All happened on the 5th of April, 2025.
What a day, the 5th of April, 2025.
And I saw you, which was like the cherry on the little cake there, which was great. But this poses the question that I have for this week. And we talk about gather round. We talk about everyone going to local grounds with Barossa and everything. Everything's local footy and everyone loves local footy because of the connection you have. But everyone has a story, right? Everyone has a local footy story. So, and this one can be posted everywhere, by the way, because I want people to chime in. Me kicking 6, best on ground, match-winning performance. You don't get to say those words out of your mouth often. And whilst I'd like to be humble, I do like to soak in the moment and be proud of a performance. And everyone can be proud of a performance they've had. They might not be able to say it, or they might not be able to have voiced it, or it's underrated. So I want everyone to chime in the comments and everyone everywhere to chime in with your best local footy story that you've done, what you've played, because that's the key essence. I want you to be proud of your performances. I'd sit there in the corner. I know someone's sitting there. There's a 14-year-old kid or a 16, whatever age, and you're proud of a 4-goal performance or a 3-goal, 20-touch game that you had. And I know you have one too.
Is that a segue into me saying my local footy story? Absolutely. Yeah. I've obviously played like a lot of different grades of footy and stuff. The one that I know that sticks out of mind is it was a 3-goal performance. It was basically because I shouldn't have been playing in the first place. I'd hurt my knee during the week, and I was like, I'm not going to play. And then got to the game, and we had 17 players. And I was like, all right, I'll play. I was like, I brought my stuff in the car anyway, just in case. It was like I knew. I was like, I'll get out there. But I said, put me in a forward pocket, and I'll fill in the numbers. I'll basically just take one of their defenders. And then I think the coach of the opposition made a mistake in saying to them that they were basically playing against 17 and that I was not going to be there. So my defender gave me no respect. Like straight away, just took off. And I was like, all right, I can't really do much, but I can do a little bit. Like I feel like I can do enough. Anyway, kick the first goal of the game, and I was like, I'm on. It's like, here we go, game on here. And then, third quarter or something like that, I went up for a mark and came down and rolled my ankle. And turns out I broke it in the end. But like, came down, rolled my ankle, and I was like, that really hurt. whatever, it's fine. let's get it on. Taped it up. I was like, if I go off, we have 17. Just tape it up, get going, kind of thing. Went out, kicked the second in the third, good vibes, and then kicked the third to put the nail in the coffin, put us 2 goals up with like a minute left, kind of thing. And it was a check side, best goal I've ever kicked in my entire life. Check side, got tackled as I kicked it, and I only knew it went in because one of my mates went, "Oh fuck!" I was like, hey! And that was a pretty good game. So that's the one that like sticks out to me. I've had a few like high touch games, but like in my mind where I'm like, that was a good game. That's the one. That's the one that sticks out to me.
But I love that, and people will. I still don't think that was the best game of footy I played.
Yeah.
In that one, so for you to say that's the best game and everything, like that's when you played your best game, and the feeling will never top it. So broken ankle as well. For those at home, that's the first time that's been told on air, but I think I've heard it about 19 times or something. Anyway, AFL footy. Everyone will be chiming in. Don't worry, I've got the you'll have the chapters in the comments. You can skip all that. Yep. Obviously on the weekend we won't get into it too much because this week we are gathering round in Adelaide. I think, and the hype of it all will be a lot more than what happened in round 4, because round 4 wasn't much fun. And I'll quickly scrim through the results for you. Collingwood Carlton. Well, that's one to forget in that rivalry. Pies winning by 17. Terrible. Followed up with a Friday night performance. GMHBA Stadium should never host a Friday night game again. And considering Melbourne are going to be shit for a while now, I think, and the Cats are, well, I don't really know what the Cats are, really. I'm not really meowing.
They might not be good.
Sort of sitting on the fence watching everyone else do their thing. I guess they'll pounce when they're ready to go. Great analogy by me. Fantastic.
Very well done. Well played.
Thank you. Saturday, we saw the Crows get robbed again. They lost by a point to the Gold Coast, which was the game of the round. And we said this was going to be, this lived up to everything. What do you make of that final couple of moments?
Yeah, so very funny with this one. I was getting on the plane as it was 3/4 time, and I was like, this sucks. I really wish I could just watch the last quarter. I was like, whatever, like it's fine. I'll see how it goes. Got off the plane. First thing I did, straight on the AFL app. And as I opened the app, I got like a notification pop up that blocked the score, and it said, "Was it a mark?" ? And I went, "Oh boy!" This is gonna be good then. And I was like, something's happened. And then I clicked dismiss, whatever, and saw that the Suns won by a point, and we were like, "Oh fuck!" Like that is nuts. Looking back at it, I obviously didn't get to watch it live, but looking back at it, they were robbed, weren't they? However, right, robbed of a free kick or robbed of a mark wasn't going to be a guaranteed goal. Let's put that out there first and foremost. Where Isaac Rankin was, not the easiest spot to kick a goal from. It is Isaac Rankin, so he probably could have and probably most likely would have, but it wasn't a guarantee. It wasn't in the goal square. Let's not say they were robbed of a win. Let's say they were robbed of a chance to win.
There is a difference, and there has been a lot of examples of the Crows in the last couple of years.
I've seen them out over the last couple of years.
There's been many, the Swans with the behind, the Draper incident last year, and obviously Dawson against Collingwood, and I think there was another Collingwood one in there somewhere as well. Yeah, so they have been robbed a few times, and I think they have grounds to say it. But every time you bring this up, it just brings up the meme, doesn't it? You're robbed right in front of me, right in front of me. But hey, you can't win them all. So
it's like it's a curse that guy put on the Adelaide Football Club. Ever since then, they have to be robbed of game-winning events. It's bizarre. It just seems to happen to them. This also brings into the knowledge of, I don't think the AFL should be clarifying decisions after games, because it just adds to the fury. It adds to the fans being more upset. I think just be like, whatever, man. Game's done. Umpires don't have. You can internally review and be like, we got that wrong. You don't have to announce it, because I think it just makes people more upset. Because what are you going to do? You're not going to come out and be like, yeah, we got it wrong, but like stiff. Gold Coast win 4 points. They're not going to overturn a decision. Unless you're going to overturn a decision, don't come out and say it.
disagree with that because
Yep.
there's one thing to don't pat your lip. There is one thing to be like, you got this decision wrong, but you can always own the decision. So if they come out and said, if they don't say anything at all, it's like almost accepting that it happened. Like they knew, whether they find that they got wrong or right or not, whatever. But the fact that they came out and owned it is like, all right, well, we lost this game because of a shit decision that should have gone our way, didn't. And end result is we still lost, and they can sort of move on. Right? It does feed the narrative of the Crows got robbed this and this and that in the
That's what I'm saying.
AFL.
Especially with
Haters.
Adelaide, it's like it's just asking for Crows fans to be like more upset because they've had it happen and they've had umpires like come out and say we got it wrong, but it keeps happening, and it's like gets to a point where you're like, what's even the point? You know, like I don't know.
Fair enough. But hey, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all. That's true.
You know, they could take the moral victory, just like Richmond took the moral victory against the Lions. You know, we were talking about this off air, and we can go to a bit more extent here. I think, and you, I think we're going to disagree a lot on this.
I was going to
podcast.
say we had some differing opinions on this too.
So my judgment, and everyone can chime in as well. My judgment of this is yes, Brisbane took the foot off the gas, but Richmond to do what they didn't do the week before against the Saints and actually continue to fight. You know, that's inspiring to their fans who know they're not going to win games. And you talked about it earlier in the year. Like, this is the moments where fans are going to rock up knowing that they probably get pumped, but they want that little bit of hope.
I want to see him try. Not
This-
even a win. I just want to see him try.
This is perfect to fit into that narrative. So for them to lose 28 points against the Lions outfit, we're under a bit of pressure to say they haven't won the MCG against the Tigers in 16 years. You know, they're premiers. And you're coming up against the bottom side who they should pump really easily. But in the end, it's only 28 points. And they took the foot off the gas. But Richmond showed them a bit more than probably they should have, which was great to see, I thought.
Yeah, like I don't disagree with that. Like I do think, and yeah, like you said, I said it earlier in the year about Richmond being like, you know, fans just want to see that. They want to see the effort kind of thing. I just I don't think, like, I've seen, and like I'm completely okay with Richmond people being like, this person played really well, this person played really well. I like the effort because there were some really good players. Luke Traynor is amazing, love him. Lawler, incredible, obviously, as we know. I'm okay with that. What I don't love is Richmond fans using the margin. Like, I don't love that. Like, they're like, oh, we got within 5 goals. Margin doesn't matter, I don't think, in that kind of situation because you were never going to win that game. And Richmond did take the foot off the gas. If the margin was out to like 80, but a bunch of your players still played well, I would absolutely accept that. But like, I don't think you can use both. Our players were really good. You can't be like, man, we almost took it up to them because you didn't really. You got out to 58 points before Brisbane were like, all right, we'll chill out. So I just think I don't want to see the commentary of like the margin being the thing. I want to see the talk of the actual players developing. Margin shouldn't matter for them this year. It should be the players on the park doing what they can.
It's the same sort of topic as North Melbourne, but
Nope. I'm completely separating those two teams right now, Richmond and North Melbourne.
ever since this is why we don't jump on teams bandwagons, because they just die. Like, we jumped on it 2 weeks ago. Thought, holy shit, this could happen. They were good-ish against the Crows.
I said it. I think I said it after the Melbourne game. I said, guys, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. Melbourne aren't going to be very good this year. Everybody chill out. Just, you got to relax. And we saw on the weekend why. I was harshly criticised for my pick earlier in the year that North may have the same amount of wins as Richmond, and as we're looking at it right now, they have the same amount of wins as Richmond. So I know there's a lot of footy left, but I'm just saying North have put themselves in a really bad spot, and I don't want to be like too critical of them because I know they are building. There's something there, but I think they've made a lot of mistakes with their draft. there's a good chance they're bad again this year, and they can't afford to be because they traded away their first round pick. So I am very worried about North Melbourne again. There is another team that I'm very, very worried about that I'm sure we'll touch on in a second. But North is not them, but North is a struggle and a struggle to watch. And it was a bad game. Admittedly, I didn't get to watch that much of it, but the score was tough. And yeah, North Ball is officially off again.
It is, but the Swans showing that fight again that I really liked and having that sort of killer instinct, which a lot of people called this a danger game for them, and they came out and basically slapped the shit out of North. So
I tipped North. My one tip I got wrong this week, everybody, because I tipped fucking North Melbourne. Taking the piss.
Yeah, I think I got a few wrong last week, but that's okay. We won't talk about that yet. But no, seeing the Swans do that was very, very nice and a bit of momentum now for them because they started slowly and everyone was a bit concerned, but then they got the job done against Freo, and now North as well. Like
they're chugging along. They're tracking towards where they usually do. That sort of they'll be a finals team in and around the mark, and they keep getting the draft right. Riley Bice, as a mature age recruit, coming in and just dominating. One of my Supercoach team is very grateful for that. But he looks amazing, and the Swans continue to do what they need to do. If they can keep Chad Warner, even better. But yeah, I like the Swans again. I think they're going to be good.
I was just trying to think, who did they beat last week? They had the bye last week, and then bet obviously Freo. The Swans haven't played. Oh, I lied. Never mind. Never all good. I thought they haven't played at home yet, but they well, besides opening round, but I was wrong. Anyway,
round one,
Sunday, and then
Sunday,
they lost to Brisbane against the Lions. Yeah, obviously at home against them. I just said that. Anyway, I've lost the plot. Sunday, obviously, we'll go through these pretty quickly because there were nothing games, all three of them, very, very much so. Giants bet the Eagles in at MG Stadium. For some reason, I thought this was in Canberra, and I don't care where this could have been played. It could have been played at the local park, and I think the same result would have occurred. Let's go to really, 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 and I know I will talk about Jesse Hogan in a second and the Giants, and I want to talk about a stupid sexy performance. I got one in the book as well. Let's go to terrible.
This is exactly what I was talking about. If there is one team that I'm more worried about than the North, it is West Coast, because West Coast have been bad for a really, really, really long time now, and they've not just been bad. That like North have been bad for about the same period, but they haven't been as bad. West Coast have been consistently the worst team in the league we're coming up on 5 years. I think a lot about some of the worst teams that I've seen like play over time. There was that Brisbane team, sort of early 2010s ish. That was really bad. Obviously, the Melbourne team, late 2000s, really bad. We've seen some bad Richmond teams over time. Obviously, the expansion teams in Gold Coast, GWS. This West Coast team might be the worst I think I've ever seen. I think the pure inability to not have anything go right is bizarre to me. Like, I don't understand how it could go so wrong every time. And like I said this during the draft, they had one top 10 draft pick in like the entire time they've been bad, and it was Harley Reid. Like, you can't be doing that. That is like, it's like you're deliberately trying to kill this football team, and it's so difficult. And you see on the weekend the gap. Like, GWS could have won this by 150. They were up so high early, and they were just like, all right, well, we've shitted in now. I'm so worried about it.
It was a passage of play that has been shown everywhere, and I don't want to rehash any footage or showcase anything that hasn't already been seen. But the Liam Duggan chase with Darcy Jones ending up kicking the goal is very. It's why Oscar Allen wants to go to Hawthorn.
Anywhere but West Coast.
Because that's a leader out there. Like, you expect that gut running and determination from your leaders. And if it's 15-game player, 4 years not doing that, then that's a lesson you can be taught. But when you're an experienced footballer like Liam Duggan, who's leading a side, I personally, for me, and we all sit here, and I think a lot of footy fans can resonate with. When you're a gamer, I can't believe I'm going to use this analogy, but I'm going to cross-reference these. When you're a gamer, or when you're a fan, or whatever the case, you love the end result of hard work, right? And I talk about you create your own team on FIFA, or you create your own team on AFL Evolution, or whatever you did during the years. And I take it back to the days where you'd wake up on a Saturday morning, 9 a.m. or whenever the case, and you'd play AFL Live 2007 or AFL Premiership 2007, and you'd take your club, rebuild all the way to the top. The satisfaction of the hard difficulty wins. Every fan can resonate with the fact that you see West Coast, a team like this right now, in 3 or 4 years' time, if they had that dedication and commitment to a rebuild to see that end result, leaders like Liam Duggan should not be playing and performing or putting in effort like that. That is insipid, I feel.
Yeah. And we don't get very critical on this very often. Like we like to have fun and joke around and everything like that. But I'm bringing up some stats here, and it's like Tim Kelly, 14 touches, 11 of them were handballs. Jaden Hunt, 12 touches. Oscar Allen, 8 touches, 0 goals, 1. These guys that are meant to. They're not superstars. I'm not saying they're superstars. They're meant to lead this football team. West Coast had 3 debutants on the weekend. All 3 of those debutants would have come out of that game being like, holy fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. like when your leaders are just putting in performances like that, like, man, what is happening? Like, it's been so long like this, and I can't understand it. I cannot understand how it happens like this. I can't understand how they keep their top draft pick this year that is not playing. Like, Bo Allen just isn't there. I know he was sick over the preseason and stuff, but then in the week, McWalter went out and said, no, he's all right. He was taking our time. Put him in. Like, you need something. It's just, man, I thought by now they would have figured something out. They have.
They have a very loyal fan base over there. They turn up regardless, and I know they're holding out hope
every year. Unbelievable, their members. Like, mad respect to them, because that's insane. I couldn't do it.
They have a lot of talent, and I don't think they know what they're doing. And I'm not going to put the torch on McWalter or anything like that.
No. Definitely. He's been given this hand, and he has to just deal with it.
A very, very big task. So, yeah. Well, when Liam Duggan comes out and says, I can't fault the effort.
It's your effort that is to be faulted, sir.
Yes. Let's point the fingers. Anyway, enough about that. Liam Duggan probably have 30-3 next week if it was all wrong. And he'll definitely give me the Harley Reid as he walks past as well. Because he'll be at the Adelaide Oval. As he's walking out, probably be walking in. Anyway, obviously we know the result about Port St Kilda. St Kilda proving a few doubters wrong, and if I take my Port hat off for a moment, in 30 seconds, I want you to give me the feeling at the moment, because at the moment I look at it and go, they're just the little engine that could right now, St Kilda, and in my opinion, they've beaten the Cat side that everyone's unsure of, but also tipping to be very high. They got the job done last week against the Tigers really well. It takes a team to win games. It doesn't take players to win games, and St Kilda are proving that at the moment. So in 30 seconds, give me your rundown.
I'm just going to use basically other things that I've seen in the last sort of little bit, and you're right in that. Where the little engine that could. No one's expecting us to be good, but it's happening. We're doing what we can. 2 things that I saw. One was our midfield despite how undermanned it was and the midfield that we were rolling out on occasions on Sunday, fuck, we held up for it. Jack McRae, who we know is amazing. We didn't even touch about him because he's unbelievable. But it was a midfield of Jack McRae, Hugo Garcia, Toby Trevallion in his second game, Liam Stocker, who's been playing the back line. And then we had other guys just rolling through if we needed them to, Zach Jones and stuff. Took it up to a midfield of Horn Francis, Butters, Rosie, Drew, all these guys. That's incredible for these young guys. Like, not even just how they played, just amazing experience for them to see that. The other thing I saw, and this is the one that I want to highlight, since May last year, we have lost 5 games of football. Since May last year, we've lost 5 games of football. Those 5 games, 2 of them against the reigning premiers Brisbane, 2 of them Adelaide in Adelaide, 1 by 2 points against Port at Marvel.
Pretty damning stat.
Yep. And so when people come at us at the start of the year and go bottom 4 and all this and like fucking how good's this little young team going along kind of thing. I'm like, hey, we've been pretty fucking good since halfway through last year. Like we've been really good. One of those Adelaide games was pissing wet the entire time. And I'm just saying, I said this. I said we weren't going to be that bad. And everyone was like, bottom 4, bottom 3, fucking these guys suck. And I went, just give us a sec. And here we are.
Your next month for the Saints is obviously the Giants in Gather Round. You play the Dogs at Marvel away. You play the Lions at home. And then you play the Dockers at home as well. And if you want to follow up after that, you play Carlton at the MCG. Your next 5 takes you to round 9. I mean, you could be 6-3, 7-2.
I was going to say, realistically, we go 3-2 in that, and we head into, the real meat of the season at 6-3.
The only thing that's holding me off is you pumped a Richmond side. You better Port Adelaide outfit that is so weirdly out of form. It's not funny. And then you got the Cats at Marvel, which you always say you get. So, but it's not just that. The bigger picture is we've seen a Saints outfit start well before.
Yeah.
And then piss it in the bin. So I'm reserving.
I'm not saying jump on this train. Obviously, we've got the Giants this week, Brisbane at Marvel. Those 2 games, if we can win one of those, are we a real deal? If we can win a Giants at Norwood, or if we can win a Brisbane at Marvel, we are a legit football team. Definitely not saying jump on us because, like you said, we are still very young. We're right now rolling with a pretty makeshift team, and people are going to find us out eventually. People are going to find out ways to beat the way we're playing football. But I think we get one of those 2, we'll be right.
Intriguing.
And then
very, very, very intriguing.
I know you've obviously, again, pointing. Port review will be somewhere around here. You don't have to talk very long about it, but the feelings among the Port faithful, and I felt it when I was standing in the race with about 30 seconds to go. I could feel a bit of unease amongst the pretty strong crowd at Adelaide Oval. Can you give us a pretty rough summation of how it is to come out of that game?
For the first time, it came pretty clear to me what the problem is, and it's the football department as a whole. And I'm not going to put the full blame on Ken, but this is a disingenuous, disconnected football club that is not only disconnected within the plans of themselves or what they want this year. They've literally given a 5-year-old a pen and drawn a game plan and followed it because I don't even know what it is. There's glimpses of perfection. There is glimpses of hope. And yesterday, for the first time in a long time, it's like it's the club versus the fans. And I could just feel it. There was a moment in the game where Mitch Georgiadis, and I didn't mention this in the review, and I wish I did because not a lot of people will see this, but there was a moment in the game where Georgiadis kicks a goal from the boundary line. He's been missing a lot all day, but he gets a good one. 16 points late in the third quarter. And the ball, 10 seconds before, the ball's meant to be bounced again. You just felt 34,000 people literally at the top of
Yep.
their lungs screaming, going, "We can get you over the line."
Yep.
I
remember it.
smiled. I was like,
I remember it vividly. Yeah.
we're going to win this game, because I knew, I sat in that moment, because we turn up every week, regardless if it's 34,000, no matter the weather. There was, it was just, it's really, really shit to feel. This isn't just a loss. We should be, and it's not even disrespect to St Kilda, it just should be winning these games at home.
Yeah.
Once you take away the home ground advantage, and once you take away, your competitive nature, we were the best team on the park for 3 quarters. The first quarter was the difference, and our stupid mistakes. So
yeah,
it's very hard to comprehend a loss like that when the feeling coming out of it is you're 1-3. You've been predicted this. There is a succession plan hanging over this football club, and now everyone's questioning the succession plan, because it's like, well, who's pulling the strings here? And you come up against a Hawks outfit who's just had a bye going into gather round on a Sunday night that's been painted by the AFL, and it's just going to look even worse when we lose this by 10 goals. And the only plane we're seeing is the one Ken gets on.
I think it's very easy, and Porter very much in the spotlight, more so this year than ever before because of the succession plan, like you said. And it becomes very easy for people to immediately start blaming. And when people then start in the comments being like, anyway, I saw this in a few comments, I saw it in your review comments, I saw it in just social media as a whole. When people start then questioning Josh Carr already, and he hasn't even taken the role yet, that's bad. That's when I'm like, oh fuck, the fans are starting to fucking get restless. And you're right, that moment when Georgiades kicked that goal, sitting in the box and had the windows open so you could hear everything, and I sat there like shaking. I was like, holy fuck, they are going to kill us. I was like, they are about to kick the next fucking 15 and they're going to murder us, because I could feel the energy of this Port crowd was flying. And when you can't get up for that, that's when I'm like, all right, something's wrong here. You look at Connor Rozee, blanketed by Marcus Wintagre for the majority of the game. Butters was good in his return. That's good. Obviously, Horn Francis was fantastic. We know that. Georgiades is going to be one of the best. If he isn't already, he's going to be one of the best key forwards in the comp in the next 2 years. He is unbelievable. He nearly took the greatest mark I've ever seen live. It was fucked up. It was right in front of me. I shit myself. it was insane. But
your tweet made it on 7AFLs.
Yeah, and Port reposted it too. So thanks Port. But you look at the players in the park, and you're like, they have what it takes, You question where it all is. There's a moment, and it's probably nothing to me, but it just didn't sit right. There's a moment where Ryan Burns gets run down in the back 50 by Power Pepper, and then he kicks a goal. But Power Pepper runs him down. No, I don't know who tackled him. Someone tackled him. Anyway, ran him down, holding the ball. If Sam Power Pepper or whoever it was that tackled him wanted to go over and push him and be like, good work, idiot, that's fine, right? Connor Rozee, who had a pretty shit game up to that point, goes up and pushes Ryan Burns and goes, yeah, take that, fuckhead. I'm kind of like, come on, mate. Come on, mate. Haven't touched the footy. Give it a rest. You didn't do the tackle. You didn't do any of the hard yards for that. So there's just little things. And like you said, I think they may have been the more, on paper, they may have the more skill for the most, 3 quarters of it kind of thing. And you said it in your review. I think the Saints just wanted it more.
I think so. I don't want to make this into Port Adelaide, but all I'll say is I mentioned this even before the season started, and I said they all know they've got a free pass this year.
Yeah.
It's already blatantly showing, but that's okay. It's fine. We'll still beat the Hawks this week, and it's fine.
I was going to say, I said it last week about us. If there's ever a Port Adelaide game to win, it's fucking Sunday 4:40 against the Hawks.
6:40 is prime time.
Oh, for
I have to wait all day.
That is a late game of football.
Sorry, work. Could be calling sick Monday. Last game, Freo Dogs. Sam Darcy, very, very good. Fremantle.
Also pretty good.
Very nice. Bags of goals by Sam Darcy leads me perfectly into around the glass table, which we can do very, very quickly because we've probably ran very much over what we wanted to. But just quickly on around the glass table, what did we ask this week?
This week we asked what's the most obscure bag of goals that you've seen kicked. Obviously, we saw last week Brody Kemp kicking a bizarre bag of 5, which was always good fun. And we asked that again this week, and sort of wanted to see some really obscure ones. My favorite one that I saw, it was really, really funny to me. Someone in the TikTok comments was like, "Oh, Fred Fanning once kicked 18 against Melbourne," and I don't know if they understood the meaning of obscure, because it's the most famous bag of goals kicked in AFL history. It's 18. It's the record. It's the record that everyone's been chasing ever since. So when I saw that, I went, "It's pretty funny." What are you doing? So that was a good one. What about you?
And my most famous one, I said it last week, was Ben Ronk with 7 goals, and someone Max Buckley onto X backed me up. Really liked your mention of Josh Bruce kicking random bags of goals every couple of years, which was
He kicked 7 against Essendon one year, and then he kicked 11 against North when he was playing for the Dogs on like Good Friday or whatever it was. Great stuff.
Fantastic. Giacomo also on X, one that slipped my mind, but Kyle Reimers kicking 8 against the Suns in 2011.
That famous game where they're up like 90-10 at quarter time, whatever it was. Yeah, what a game.
Fantastic, that. And I thought that was really good. We've also had a few more around on the other socials as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm heading to TikTok. It's trying to take its time to load. But Joel Amati kicking 9 last year, which we spoke about at the time. Obviously, it was against Adelaide, and it was a real bizarre one because I think it was one of those ones, much like Jesse Hogan's this week, where it was like one of those 9 goals, 9 touches kind of games. Like he didn't do anything else except kick snags. I kind of appreciate that. I think that's my favorite ones, when the full forwards know their role and they're like, "I'm here to kick snags. I don't pass." And not only that, they kick them efficiently. Like, Jesse Hogan went 9 for 9, I think. It was 9 goals, 9 touches.
9 straight.
Unbelievable. Sensational stuff. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate a full forward knowing what he's worth. And that's a good one. And then like I just said, the Jesse Hogan one this week, which isn't obscure. We know he can kick snags, but I remember the Jesse Hogan haul against Essendon, I think 2 years ago. It was
probably our favourite bag of goals on this podcast.
Essendon had to I was going to say we used to make a lot of jokes about it. We still can. Essendon, I think, had to win to stay in the finals hunt, and they lost by about 120 odd or 110, and Hogan kicked 9, I think, or something around that number, around that mark, and it was just very funny. just a very funny bag of goals.
Paul Stewart kicking 5 randomly for Port Adelaide as well is one I just randomly remembered last week, because I remember him being a shift worker as a forward.
Getting down when he could.
It was 2012 he did it. Kick 5 against the Crows, I think it was. But many, many times. So it's very, very, very funny. Which is a good question. Obviously, this week we'll do the local footy one, which would be fantastic. And this week as well, we may as well lead straight into it as we gather round. And as we'll do the tips, we'll obviously be seeing a lot of games this weekend, and there's great games across the board. Barossa games, there'll be games at Norwood. 2 games at Norwood.
Yeah.
2 in the Barossa. The Saints will be at
baby. Let's
Norwood.
Go.
I'm going to have to survive 3 hangovers before I get to Sunday night. And yeah, look, it's an intriguing one. We'll go through it, and obviously, you're attending. I think what are you attending? There's 2 games this week. 3 games this week.
It'll be Melbourne Essendon Saturday night. Which let me just preface by saying, probably not going to be watching a lot of football.
A lot of Pepsi's drank.
A lot of Pepsi's drank by myself and Anthony that night. I'm just going to put that out there because we're going to be in the collective, which is very exciting. So if you're around, say hi. But yeah, we're not going to be watching that much football. So next week or whatever, we're covering this game. Don't expect a lot of in-depth analysis, even though we'll be there. But no, going to that one, obviously Saints Giants at Norwood, and then I will be making my appearance at Port Adelaide Hawthorn. I should get there either on the bounce just about or just a bit after. But I will be at 3 games.
Probably just just about after because I think I'll be making sure you go to the bar before you sit down.
Are you in Adelaide Oval yet? Yeah. All right. Thanks. 4 beers and a bag of chips.
Make sure the beer's not warm. Put your finger in it before we get ready. I'm venturing all the way, but barring Carlton West Coast, will be at every Adelaide Oval game.
You
All
got
in the same demeanour.
Thursday night one.
Yes, yeah. I got one of my Crows fans, mates, is taking me. So
Beautiful.
I don't know why, but
Just cause you
count the
can.
Cats. So speaking of Thursday night, who you tipping, Adelaide or Geelong in the Festival of Footy in South Australia, which is going to be a hot weekend?
Yes, I was going to say very, very hot weekend. Glad obviously this one's a night game. It should be okay by this point. This is a good way. I'll tell you what, Thursday and Friday, great ways to start gather around. The AFL's done a fantastic fixturing job for this one. Adelaide versus Geelong, Collingwood, Sydney, both bangers. Adelaide Geelong is going to be really, really interesting.
Thursday night, Adelaide Cats. Who you tipping?
This one's going to be good. I'm very, very excited. I've seen firsthand this year how good Adelaide is at Adelaide Oval, as of a few teams. And yeah, I think they're going to be too strong again. It'll be an interesting crowd because I feel like some, much like I was in the first gather round year, wasn't a fan of either team, but people do that gather round. They can rock up to games. Obviously, you're going to be there as a Port fan, so it'll still be a strong Adelaide crowd. There'll be a few neutrals mixed in. I still think Adelaide's going to win this one though, but it'll be close. And I'm hoping it is close. I'm going to pick Adelaide by a goal.
Ooh. I'm also tipping Adelaide. I'll tip them by 12. Home ground advantage. I think they'll bounce back. If they are what they say they are this year, they bounce back from the week before. I think a lot of times they've been caught up in that sort of hysteria over their results. So I think they get the job done. But this will also see if the Cats are the real deal. So also I can say that, but in 10 rounds' time, the Cats could be like 5-7 and still come out and make finals. And
I was going to say, Cats could lose this, and I'll be like, man, they're done. And then all of a sudden, it's round 17, and they're somehow like 12-3, and I'm like, huh? How did that happen?
I mean, it's always the case. It's interesting. Friday night, the Pies and the Swans. DeGoey Schultz out for the Pies. I saw today, so it's going to be interesting. The Swans a bit stronger than they were, but the last time they played at the Adelaide Oval, they lost by 112 points.
Ah, that game, that famous.
Back when Port were good.
Very interesting. Maybe they have I'm trying to think of that first. Who did they play in the first year of gather round Sydney? I think I was there. No, I don't think I was there. I don't remember who it was. Oh no, it was. I was the Friday night. It was Richmond Sydney, and they won because it was that Friday night game. I remember now. I remember now.
I was pissed.
I was also pissed on the hill. Anyway, yeah,
Collingwood Sydney.
Pretty sure we were together. Eh? Pretty sure that's what I was trying to say. Yep. So my tip for this one, I think you basically spelled it out already. Lockie Schultz and John DeGoey not playing is big outs. Schultz was best on against Carlton, and DeGoey, we know what he can do. And I think, I just think Sydney's going to win.
That's how strong last week's game was when Lockie Schultz is best on the ground, isn't it? So you're tipping the Swans?
I was like, what? Yeah, I'm tipping the Swans. Swans.
I'm also tipping the Swans. Wouldn't be surprised if the Pies do win, but that's going to be a dangerous game to be on the hill.
Oh boy.
Barossa. Suns. If the Suns, not only are they playing North, who are coming off a terrible loss, they're wearing pink. They'll win this by 200.
Yeah, this is going to be... Yeah, I'm actually going to do every time I feel like I need to do a thing, and then I don't. I'm going to do the lock again here. This is going to be Gold Coast lock to beat North Melbourne.
Very, very nice. Blues, West Coast open up the Adelaide Oval for a Super Saturday. West Coast in terrible form. The Blues in terrible form. 0-5.
What a fucking thriller.
What these teams could be.
Thriller.
0-4, 0-4. Who doesn't get Owen Wilson this week?
Carlton cannot lose this game. It is nearly the unlosable game for Carlton. But imagine if they did, though. They're not going to, but imagine if they did. It's not going to happen. But
Bad week to
imagine
get West Coast.
if they did.
Do you know?
Bad week to get West Coast because we just abused them on a pod, so they're going to come out firing.
Imagine they lose this game of football. Only won twice at the Adelaide Oval. One of them was against a side that doesn't belong here in Fremantle. The other one is a side that's borderline losing their as a residency in Port Adelaide. I'm in the Blues.
I'm also going to tip the Blues.
And they're my lock.
That's a good call. It's a safe bet.
if it's locked in tight and they lose. Lions, Dogs, and Norwood. Beautiful festival footy. Birds of Tokyo are going to be there. It's going to be sensational. I'm very, very, very funny at the fact that West Coast broke up with the Birds of Tokyo, and now they're even shitter. and the funniest part of it all is now they've gone across and gone, all right, well, we'll play music for the Lions and Dogs instead.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, good.
We made plans to kiss the sun at night. On we march with our lanterns on.
Oh, it's the ultimate get fucked to West Coast.
Birds of Tokyo have a song called I'd Go With You Anyway.
Oh, man.
Lions win.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lions do win. Very funny that it's at Norwood. You know, it's about time Norwood get a good game of football. I think one of the years they had, first year was okay from memory. I don't know. Last year was fucking Saints Richmond.
I had Suns Freo on the Friday.
That's the one.
The first
I
year.
remember because
That
I
was a
woke
good
up
game.
so hungover and the game had started. And I was like, what? I was like, how has that happened? What time is it here?
Yeah, Adelaide's its own universe for going around.
It was bizarre. I was like, oh, footy will start in like a little bit. Looked at my phone and they were running out. And I was like, oh, shit.
Like, Norwood. Is this a replay? Our game, Pepsi Collective, bringing you Melbourne Essendon Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval. Talk about a game that if you ever. Now, the first year you and I sat through the wet weather conditions of Melbourne Essendon, and it was a good game of footy because.
Oh yeah,
Essendon,
is this the second time they've played? Yeah.
Yeah, and this time I have a feeling it's going to be an ugly good game of footy.
Yeah,
like one where. Now we say that we're going to get pissed. It's like Pepsi Collective, you know. Joel Corey's performing. We've got some unreal performances. We'll probably see celebrities walking in and out and all this stuff, and we're going to be high end, looking cool. You can't tell me for a second you'll see 5-9-39 versus 5-37, 5-7-37 at half time, and you're looking over your shoulder going, might sit down for this third quarter, see where it lands. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, butts in seats, baby. Butts
there might be
in
only
seats.
35,000 of you there because it says it's a sellout, but no. All of you are at the bars or outside, and little Pims collectives and everything like that. We're at the Pepsis, and you're going, tell you what, Trent Rivers is in the midfield.
Look at Harvey Langford go. He's doing pretty well. I'm very excited.
Essendon might not have a midfielder, but there's Nick Martin just running by with the footy.
Otherwise,
Mate, Caddy's had 3.5 time.
I see you, Isaac Kako. I'm so excited because it's one of those games where I do not care. I do not care even a little bit. Not one teeny tiny bit of me gives a slight shit about this game. And I get to be there. That's my favorite part of football is when I'm at a game and I do not care. I'm there. First gather round Saturday at like 1:45. I sat there and I watched Geelong West Coast and it was amazing because I didn't give a shit. Geelong were up like 10 goals at half time and I was like, cool, man, whatever. I'm going to get a beer. I don't care. And I'm so excited because this game, I don't even know I'm going to tip. I don't care again. Whatever. It's fine.
I'll tell you what, it's a shit game. Love it. You know what? Back the fucking underdog. Bring me the D's, boys. Bring it home. I tell you what, they're going to exile all of my demons and they're winning.
You know what? I'm going to tip the Bombers only because we've been the same the entire time. And I don't care. Again, I don't. I'm picking Essendon.
It'll make great night even more better because we're going against
We've
each
got
other.
different tips. Exactly. I don't care. Football. I'll have a beer in my hand. That's all that matters.
And I feel sorry for the people that rock up the next day and have to catch a 10 a.m. bus down to Barossa and go watch a Richmond Freo. Oh boy, I'm shaking in my boots.
The Shea Bolton Cup, baby.
Oh, in the Barossa. Freo.
Freo by a long way.
Josh
Freo
Tracy
by a
might kick
comfortable margin.
19.
Freo by a comfortable margin. Yeah, this one's good. Just quickly as well, back to Saturday. Do you reckon when they were booking together and stuff, they went, yeah, fuck, these games are going to cook. And now you're looking at them and it's like, oh my God, Carlton West Coast into Melbourne Essendon. Jesus Christ.
How many West Coast and Carlton fans have refunded their tickets?
A few. I would
Yeah,
say.
well, I got a 2-for-1 sale today when I got a text message from the Adelaide Oval saying, guess what? We got 2-for-1 sale for Saturday games at the Adelaide Oval. This Saturday, I'm thinking, hey, let's gather around this week. And Port don't play. Looked it up. First game popped up. Carlton West Coast.
Why? That's why it's a 2-for-1.
Let's go over 12.50 on a Saturday. And then, you know what Sposs decided to do? My coach goes, we're training on Saturday morning. Minute silence for those that have to move. Giants Saints. Close one, this one. I reckon it'll be a good one. Nail biter. The last time the Giants played in Nord was that Suns game. Harry Hillberg.
Yes, absolutely. And I was going to say the last time Saints and Giants played, it was really, really close. And somebody took a match-winning mark. Peatling? No. Somebody took a match-winning mark for the Giants in the back 50.
Oh, it was Peatling.
Might have been Peatling. I can't remember. Somebody young. I don't remember who it was. Either way, I took a match-winning mark in the back 50. And I think they beat us by a point or two. So Saints and Giants have good games of footy. Beat them a few years back as well when they were pretty good and we were doing all right, which is exciting too. So very keen for this. I will be there. I will be on the hill at Nord, which is going to be exciting times and not working.
Really a nil. It's not really a hill.
Just hanging around.
Concrete with a step.
Yeah, just hanging around. I'll be
and a
somewhere.
wide fence behind you. So just in case you fall over, you're being caught.
Absolutely. How good is that? I'll be there anyway. I don't have to work this one, which is good. And I'm very excited for it. And you know what? I tipped us last week because I had the confidence and I think we're playing some pretty good footy. Might have some decent ins. I'm going to tip the Saints again.
Might have some decent ins. Well, there's an insight to an insight we won't hear because no one doesn't listen this far anyway. And I'll tell you what, they probably switched off after we frothed over the D's Bombers.
Oh, real
Sometimes you got to give a shit game of footy some love, you know?
Good juice, because no one else cares about it.
Exactly. Speaking of a shit game of footy, Port Hawks to round out Gather Round. Review will be out Thursday. Preview. Well, the review may as well be out Thursday. I know what's happening here. Q Jet. Big Ken playing. It's happening. I don't care. I've had a feeling since this thing was labelled, this is happening.
Mhm.
It's either going to go two ways, this. We lose by 60 points, all Hawks fans get to rub it in, and I'll be sitting there going, you haven't been justified. We kicked your ass last year. Or it happens. The Hawks come off the bye. They're a little bit complacent. They're, yeah, of course, the unsociable Hawks and all of that good stuff. We know they're good. You just might get the right Port Adelaide. You might. That handball that splits through the middle of the corridor that just happens. Our effort in the midfield questioned. Leadership questioned. I'm thinking of a story that happened in September last year where they came up against the Cats and they got pumped. Don't know why I'm sitting like Zazu, but anyway.
And
It
everyone
happened.
wrote them off.
I'm tipping Port. You don't write us off. I'm tipping us. I want to back us, and this will be it. Like if they don't win, then all right, I have to accept fate. But Rocky Balboa says it ain't over till it's over, and there's a little bit of fight in these Port boys. So I'm backing them in. I'm being positive all week. I'm backing you, Ken. If we don't make finals this year, so be it. But if there's a win I can look back on, it's Gather Round. We are undefeated in Gather Round. It happens.
Fair enough. And like I said, we went to the first one. Port Dogs pissing rain.
Great game of footy. Trav's back this week. Oh, we can't lose.
Trav's back, pissing rain. I think Aaliyah might have played one of the best games I've ever seen. Maybe. I think he was really good from
That
memory.
was awesome.
Yeah, and then obviously Boak's goal, which I remember too. Very excited for this. I will be attending as well. Seeing what Paul produced against us, I'm like, man, I don't know if they got it in them. I don't think they're going to get smashed. People have been like, man, they're going to lose by a lot. I don't think they're going to get smashed. I just think Hawthorn are flying right now. And law of averages, they have to lose at some point, and this could very well be the one. But I think Hawks are going to win it, and if Hawthorn do win by like 6 goals plus, whatever like that. Something that I'll add on to my tip is that if Hawks win by this amount of money, this amount of score, Jack Ginnivan or Nick Watson will do a plane celebration. It will happen. I am putting a fucking nail in it right now. That will 100% happen. If it is the third quarter or the last quarter and Hawks are not even within reach, one of them will whip out a plane celebration. I almost guarantee.
There's your quote graphic for yourself this week. Did one last week. That's your quote graphic this week.
If Hawks are beyond
plane
doubt,
celebration confirmed.
Yeah, if Hawks are beyond doubt, one of them will do a plane celebration.
If Port win, I'll do a Robert Irwin. Get my snake out.
On the Adelaide Oval.
The snake of beer cups. Anyway, that's Gather Round.
Yep.
We look forward to gathering round with you this weekend. This is my closing call. This is something I don't want to copy Footy Classified. So this is my closing statement. We like to do like the bit of a final ceremony. This weekend is a celebration of footy. It's a moment where you can sit next to a fan that could be a giant, a swan, a lion, a pie, a crow, a cat. Could be an animal. Could be anything. Could be a lightning. Could be your worst nightmare. It's not the demons, but it's close. This is a moment in time where you can actually sit back and go, this might impact your season. It might impact your mood. But it's a moment of time where you can sit back and go, footy is pretty cool. It's going to be in one state. You're going to celebrate with people that you haven't seen before, people you only see once or twice a year, family, friends. You might see a player you've never met before. You might get to do something you've never done. It is the most exciting time, unless it's finals, the most exciting time of the year. This is going to be footy. This is going to be gather round. So welcome to South Australia, all of you. I don't see you on Hindley Street. I'll see you next week on the pod. Goodbye, everybody.